Trevor Alonso. This is my review of Pooh, Blood and Honey. And this is one of those movies that basically the premise is the strongest thing going for it. Okay, by now everyone's pretty much heard that Winnie the Pooh this year went into public domain. At least the books, not the Disney property. Some filmmakers heard about this. They started making the movie last year and released it this year when it's in public domain. And of course, they can't do all the characters, and they can't have them look too much like the Disney versions. So the plot is, as a kid, Christopher Robin met Pooh and his friends, but this time around they're not just animals that can talk or stuffed animals. They are like mutant hybrids, half animals, half humans. Christopher Robin grew up and stopped going to visit them, but apparently he was also feeding them. They became very feral and started eating each other. The very beginning that explains this looks like a crappy cartoon. And apparently sometime later, Christopher Robin goes back with a fiancé, I'm guessing, back to the 100-acre woods that looks like a meth lab / trailer trash / steel farm. Pooh and Piglet are now violent, murderous psychopaths, but the makeup looks pretty crappy. It looked like they're just wearing masks, and you can hardly tell that every now and then there's like some kind of animatronic in there that's moving the ears and the mouth. If they did a better job with the hybrids, it might have looked better, but this was really low budget. And at first you think that Christopher Robin and his fiancée get murdered, but they're actually being tortured, and of course his fiancée dies first. Meanwhile, a group of college-aged girls are staying at a cabin nearby. And yes, you can guess, Pooh and Piglet show up to basically murder everybody. Now I get, in some slasher movies, the premise is there, and then the story's good, and there's character development. But here, once the plot is explained, that's kind of it. No one really has any character development. They try to do some things with different girls by, one's a social media, like Instagram model. Two are apparently a couple, but you wouldn't know it unless you really paid attention to that one scene. I guess one girl is supposed to be like the egghead type, but you don't really get that. It pretty much seems like everybody's there for the body count. Even Christopher Robin. It's like the filmmakers were really in a rush to do this on a premise that is, hey, let's make a violent movie out of Winnie the Pooh. This could have been better as a joke trailer, put on YouTube, but no, they made this into a movie, released it, and apparently it's doing well enough that they have like a whole line of sequels lined up. They already started filming Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 2. Wow, that almost sounds like a rhyme. I hear for the sequel they're going to introduce Tigger. The filmmakers did say they were going to make a whole universe of public domain slasher monsters. Like a whole universe of public domain, borderline getting sued by Disney. This movie is not that great, and it's not the worst movie I've ever seen either. It would be a great movie to watch with some friends to make fun of, or if you're into the curiosity of, well, how they turned this into a slasher movie. Of course, there's a lot better slasher movies out there. Even the Halloweens and Friday the 13ths have a bad movie in the series. So don't go into this expecting a whole lot. Okay, for spoilers, it's kind of hard to say spoilers when nearly everybody dies except Christopher Robin. But the main problem is, I'm not interested in anybody. Yes, I get in a slasher movie you want to see kills, and they delivered on some kills, but even on some kills, they were lackluster. And you become disinterested when the characters aren't that great. I'm not like, oh no, I hope they make it. I'm like, I wonder how much longer this is gonna be. Okay, I have to say that for the suspense in this movie, I feel like they saw or had ideas for suspense, but they saw it from other movies, and it was not executed well in this movie at all. There's a scene where Pooh is coming after a girl in a hot tub, and the lights flicker, but every time the lights come on, Winnie the Pooh is closer, but the way it's done in this movie, it's like you can tell he's moving whenever the lights are off, and he's supposed to be perfectly still when the lights come on. Instead, he's still moving, and he kind of stops. They did the exact same scene in Halloween 2018, except a lot better and well executed. There's also a scene in this movie where a girl is swimming and trying to get away from Winnie the Pooh, who's on the side of the pool. But she's moving so slow that Pooh could just like jump on her because it's not that far, or he could just walk over to the other side of the pool. And like, what is she gonna do? Start swimming to the other side as Pooh like runs to the other side? But instead, because script and plot, Winnie the Pooh just stands there and it's supposed to be suspenseful, but instead it's coming off as kind of funny. And you're like, okay, he's gonna kill her. He's gonna kill her. Finally. So for this, I'm giving this movie a 3 out of 10 honey jars. Thank you for watching this video.